Hey, what's going on everybody? How y'all doing today? I am glad to be back. I know I took a little bit of a hiatus. I had a little health thing that I had to take care of, and then work got really busy and I just kind of lost track of what was going on, and took about a week off of making videos and streaming, but I'm back now. We're back at it. We're getting back in the grind. So here's the deal. A couple weeks ago, I put out a video about an interview with one of the higher ups in Arknights, and he hinted at the fact that they were working on a new game mode. He mentioned that it was kind of like a roguelike thing. Well, we didn't have to wait very long to see what that game mode is, because it has been officially announced, and I believe by the time this video comes out, it will be live on CN servers. Unfortunately, it's not coming to global just yet, but we will get to see a sneak peek through the CN servers. So without further ado, let's jump right into the article that talks specifically about this new game mode from gamepress.gg. So the new game mode is called Integrated Strategies. Now, the first half of this article I really like. There's a lot of information here that we can derive what this is going to be about. The second half, honestly, it's kind of a little bit of fluff. We don't really know, because we don't know details about the event, or sorry, not the event, but about this new game mode. It kind of doesn't really mean anything until we know how the game mode works, but we'll still go over it. We'll still go over everything in this article. I will, of course, link this article down in the description below if you want to check out the article yourself. So first up, players can play this mode multiple times, each of which will have random battles and events. So it is a roguelike. We're getting random battles, we're getting random units, we're getting random enemies. Super exciting. That means that no two maps will ever be the same, hopefully. So I'm wondering if they're going to have like a random selection of maps. So, you know, they have like 10 to 20 maps that kind of shuffle between, or if all the maps are random. I don't know yet. We'll see how that pans out in the future. No matter if the run succeeds or fails, operators' items and coins collected along the way will be converted into tasty honeycakes and pretty mushrooms. Well, what are these two things? Well, tasty honeycakes can be used to obtain limited rewards, and pretty mushrooms can be used to increase power during Saebi's Fungi Mist. Now, I believe that Saebi's Fungi Mist is a different event. It is not this integrated strategies. Correct me if I'm wrong, but from what it sounds like, it is a separate event. So the only thing that kind of worries me, now they say obtain limited rewards. If they said limited time rewards, I would assume that this is not a static game mode. It's not going to stay in the game forever. It was going to be more like an event. It would come for about 2 weeks and then it would leave after that. But because they say limited rewards, what I'm hoping this is it works similar to the store. So for about a month or maybe a couple weeks, the rewards that are in the shop are the ones that you can earn. Once those rewards are emptied, you can't earn any more from running this. You can still run to this all you want. You just can't earn any more rewards until the next cycle. I'm hoping that's the case, just with the way this is worded, but we shall see. Next up, in every run, you'll need to start from zero using random operators to deal with random events and unknown enemies. So kind of recapping what we already talked about, it's all random, which is super cool. It's super fun, and we'll talk about why that is in a little bit. During each run, the target HP is carried over from each battle to the next until it reaches zero or you reach the end. So you're going to need to prioritize your healers. If a unit dies, you lose that unit. Also, it will make things very difficult for your next upcoming levels. If like your vanguards are very low at the end of a level, they're going to be very low when you start the next level. So you're going to need to prioritize healing your units and making sure they're healthy for every battle. If HP reaches zero, the run will end. I'm assuming it's just like a normal map. You lose, the win and lose conditions are the same exact. Battles cannot be restarted during run. If the player chooses to abandon battle or there is any disconnection, the run will end. When not in battle, players may temporarily leave the event. So obviously this has to be the case, because you can't get to the end of the battle, almost lose, and then quit and everything's fine with that, obviously, because if you did that, you could just do this until, you know, the end of time. You only get one shot per map. So I completely understand that. The part that I'm not crazy about is if you disconnect, it will end your run. Now, disconnections and app crashes, they don't happen all the time, but they do happen a percentage of the time. So it's going to be there's going to be a lot of feel bad moments where players get to, let's say, map 20 or whatever, how far you can go, and they disconnect. The app crashes. It's gonna feel really bad. So I wish there was a way that they could implement a system that could detect if something like that occurred. Now, I don't know on the back end how difficult that is, but it would be nice to see that in the future so that there are less feel bad moments. Now, the important part, the part that everyone wants to know about, is how we're going to get these random operators. So I'm going to come back to this picture. First, we're going to read kind of the description. So recruitment tickets of different classes will appear randomly at the start of a run. They can also appear during the run. When using recruitment tickets, players can freely choose any operator they own that matches the class. Okay, so now that we know that, here's how you draft. So you're going to get presented 3 separate tickets. So in this case, we have Specialist, Caster, and Guard. So you can choose one of these classes and it will get added to your pool. So we can see that this person has already selected Caster, Guard, Defender, and so on. From this pool that you've selected, you'll then be able to choose however many units of that class that you've selected. So in this case, this person could select one of any of their Casters, one of any of their Guards. You get the idea. So the question is then, what limits players from just filling up their roster with 6 stars, right? Because if you can choose from any of your units, there has to be some kind of restrictions. We will get to that in a second. First up though, lucky players may find an emergency recruitment that can recruit operators they don't own. This is super nice for your free-to-play players because most free-to-play players won't have access to top-end units, you know, like your Saria, your Blazes, your, well, Silver Ashes everyone's probably going to have at this point, but your Helligers, your Exias, like all these characters, you may have 1 or 2, but you're not going to have, you might not have more than that. So it's super nice that they're putting this in there for the players who, not even just for free-to-play players, just for players who don't have like a fully stacked out roster. You can still have access to units you don't have, which is super nice. So now let's talk about what restricts your operators. So players will be able to attain hope through various methods. This is an important resource for recruitment. Higher rarity operators require more hope to be recruited, and emergency recruitment does not consume any hope. So if we look back at this image, you have Dernar, your 4-star unit. It looks like it costs 0. You have all your 5-star units, looks like they cost 4, and your 6-star units cost 6. So my assumption would be that you start with 0 or some low amount of hope. Maybe you start with 4 hope, but I'm guessing it's 0. So at the start, you would only be able to recruit 4 stars and lower because they're all free. And then as you go through for more and more maps, you'll get more and more hope, and then you can unlock more and more operators, more high-end operators. So I think it's a very nice system as long as the implementation of the hope is a clean one. Should be no problems, no complaints there. But what about operator levels? Because remember, some people's operators on the low end are not going to be, you know, fully maxed, but some people's might be. And so if you're starting with fully maxed characters, well, then, you know, there might not be a lot of challenge there in the beginning levels. So in order to do that, operator levels, skill levels, and potentials will match the actual operator outside of the roguelike mode. Okay, that's kind of what I was saying, right? The first time an operator is recruited, they will be limited to Elite 1. I like this. I like being able to put a cap on your operators. So even if you have a stacked roster where all your 6 stars are E2 level 90, they're not just going to let you blow through the early maps. There is going to be some kind of restriction so that it makes the maps a little bit more difficult, and it doesn't mean you can just unload the full strength of your roster right from the get-go. Very nice. So how do you unlock the E2? Well, you can recruit them for a second time to promote them. I like this. I like whenever a game gives you a choice like this. So basically, instead of recruiting, so you can either recruit a new character or you can upgrade your current characters. I like this because it's going to bring a lot of choice. There are going to be some roads where there's going to be a wrong choice. There are going to be some roads where there is a right choice, and you as a player are going to have to decide whether you're going to upgrade a unit to get a new skill, get more damage, or you're going to get a new unit. Maybe you need, you know, a pusher or a puller for one of the maps to make it a lot easier, but you don't already have one, so you have to choose. Do you upgrade to E2? Or do you recruit one of them? I think that it's a very smart idea. It's a very smart system. and I'm really excited about that. I do really like that. But there are also some special operators who can be recruited using emergency recruitment. So these units are not in the main game. They're only going to be, as far as right now, they're only going to be in this new game mode. So my hope is that these operators do something different than our normal operators. I hope that maybe they interact with hope somehow. They, you know, the farther you progress, the stronger they get. Something like that. Something that interacts with this new game mode. Because otherwise, I don't think that there's a lot of use for them. Because the roster is already so full with 100+ characters. So I am hoping that there's a particular reason that these units are in this special game mode. And speaking about them, they are not going to be affected by the operators players already own. They will appear in their strongest state immediately. So maybe that's the thing, is that it's more for your beginning stage players that you're going to get a super beefy character that's already built. I don't know exactly how that's going to work, but we shall see in the future. Now we get to kind of the fluff part. Because we don't know exactly how the game works, a lot of this information is not really like valid. It's valid information, but there's just nothing, like, it's just kind of fluff. You'll see what I mean in a second. So collectibles vary in effects, and you can unlock more of them in the adventure. Meanwhile, some specific collectibles will influence the route of the adventure. So there's something to do with routes. It's not necessarily going to be a linear direction, so that'll kind of be interesting to see how that plays out, which kind of ties back to this first image. We have it right here. How it looks like, you know, there's 2 branches right here, there's 3 branches right here, so you may have some choices to make, and that's actually a really cool thing that I didn't think about before. I was thinking it was going to be kind of linear, but it'll be cool to see how that plays out. The REM 15P Bonsai, so Hope +2 operator slot 1. So Hope +2, obviously, it's going to give you 2 additional Hope for recruitments. The operator slot +1, I'm curious to see how this is implemented and what it actually means. So does this mean that when you're recruiting, you'll only be able to recruit X number of characters? So let's say 12. Let's say your full roster has to be 12. And when you want to recruit a 13th, you have to kick someone out. Does it mean that the amount of operators you can bring into a battle is +1? You know, I don't know exactly how this is going to work. I'm guessing that it's the simpler of the two, where it's just you can bring an additional unit, kind of like a support unit, but we shall see. Strange looking Colombian backyard pea bonsai can be used to decorate indoor and harvest crops. Maybe there is other effect. So look, I have no idea what this means. Could it be a mistranslation? Sure, but decorate indoor seems to say that it's like a base item, but then again, if it's like a consumable, why am I putting it in my base? And harvest crops, are we getting gardens? Like, what is it? I don't know what this means. So, you know, this is kind of like what I was talking about. Maybe this is relevant information. You know, it's basically just this reminder text here. Maybe it's relevant information once you know how the game works, but for right now, it really doesn't mean anything. Originum ingots are special currency in Fungi Mist. You can obtain them in various ways, and consuming them will power up your journey. So here's the thing. This is where I get a little bit confused, because I thought Fungi Mist was a different event, but why can I earn these inside integrated specialist secrets strategies? Yeah, it's one of those buzzwords. You know, why am I earning these things in this game mode for a different event? I don't know. You know, either way, there's going to be ways to power up your journey, which we'll see in a second here. Refined originum ingots, a type of currency in adventure. Seems some merchants are looking for it. You know, that's fine, but we don't know how you earn these, and we don't know what you can trade them for. So it really doesn't mean much. Finally, a couple last points. No matter what collectibles or how much currency you have got in the last adventure, they will be cleared and converted into corresponding tasty honey cake for the next journey. The big point, though, this is the big one. The last two are just talking about how you can't quit in battle, but you can save your progress once you're done with battle. This is the big one, though. There's no sanity consumption for this mode. I thought for sure before this was announced that this would have to have sanity consumption for a couple reasons. The first is that every mode in this game already uses sanity. Why does it use sanity? Well, because that's where Yostar makes their money. People want to play this game, people want to farm materials, and so to do that, you need to bypass how much sanity you're allowed in a day. So people buy their Arknight Prime. There are obviously other reasons people buy Arknight Prime, like rolling for characters, but a large reason is for sanity refreshes. So if you have a mode like this that you can literally play all day because it's not the same map over and over and over again, I would think that you would want to throw sanity on it. The reason to not put sanity on it, first of all, is to make it more accessible to free-to-play players, because you're not directly like farming or completing the campaign. I'm sure there's going to be some kind of rewards, but the rewards are the other big thing. So let's say the rewards that you can buy with your credits, or however you're getting rewarded in this, through this store. Let's say you have an infinite supply of items that you can select from. Well, if this doesn't cost any sanity, why would I ever farm a map again? Right? I would just go to this, just play this all day. It's always going to be something different, unless I just want to like brainlessly put it on my side monitor and just let it run. Then I would farm maps, but then it's costing sanity, which is costing money. So this makes sense if we have the rotational store, like I mentioned before. So basically you can collect the whole store, then once you're out, you can't collect any more rewards. So once you go through the store, you then have to go back to your maps to farm materials, which then, you know, gets you spending again. So that's what I'm thinking. So that kind of what leads me to believe that the store is going to be rotational if this is a game mode that's sticking around and it's not kind of like every season type of thing. But very nice. It means that this is now going to turn into a game that you can literally play all day with new content, not necessarily running every map over and over again, which is very, very nice. I think a lot of people are going to like that now they can actually enjoy the game. Okay, so final wrap up. Let's go over my final thoughts of this game mode. So far, everything I've seen here is a positive. There's nothing to this that looks like a drawback. It looks like just all great ideas. This is great for new players. This is great for old players. So new players, you're going to be investing in your early game operators already, so they're going to be perfect for this. While old operators, it gives you a reason now to go and upgrade those units that you never did in the past. So all those 3 stars, all those 4 stars, just rotting away because obviously you're going to use your 5 and 6 stars. Now you have a reason to go back and use those characters. There are so many operators that I've wanted to use, right? And that's why, quick plug here on my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/xjazz207, that's why I created a free-to-play account, because my main was getting so stale. It was just redoing maps over and over and over again. And on stream, that's so boring to watch. It's nice when you want to have like conversation and talk to the people in your chat, because it's just mindless. You don't have to pay attention to it. But it's so boring to watch. And so I wanted to start actually playing the game. So I built a free-to-play account. And so this time around, I'm not necessarily using the best operators I can. I'm trying to use operators that are kind of subpar. So like using Hayes instead of Amia, using Jessica instead of Cross. I really want to use Frostleaf. I just need to unlock her. I don't have her yet. So stuff like that. You know, there's a lot of cool character designs down in the 3 and 4 star range that just don't get used, because by the time you unlock them, you probably already have 5 and 6 stars who are just better at filling those slots. So I'm really happy that Arknights is doing this and giving those lower star units opportunities to shine. That's what I really like about this. Also, for you whales out there, it is going to give you a reason to continue farming and just like blinging out your account, because all your units are going to be valuable now. So no worries, there will always be something for you to do. So guys, that is all I have on the new game mode integrated strategies. We don't currently know yet when this is coming to global, but I believe, like I said, that this will be going live when this video goes live on Tuesday. If you guys like the video, go ahead and click that like button and subscribe to the channel. That way you always know when I put out a new video. Just like this one, it also helps show your support to the channel and lets me know that you guys like the content that you're seeing. It's completely free and takes about 2 seconds. You can also head over to my Twitch channel if you want to see some more Arknights content, twitch.tv/xjazz207, We play there usually 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, around 8 p.m. EST. Right now, we are focusing on the free-to-play account. Wednesday, though, tomorrow, or whenever you're watching this, it will probably have already happened if you're watching this in the future. We are going to be opening for Sayabi. So if you catch us on Tuesday or Wednesday during the day, come check out the stream. We'll be rolling until we get Sayabi. Hopefully she doesn't take as long as Neon, because that took way too long. Also, you can also follow me on Twitter. I always post when I'm going live, or I put out a new video. So if you want to follow along, you can also follow me on there. But guys, that is finally it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will see you in the next one. Peace!